We are talking with Robert Taylor Jr. and this is the groove. I hope that you guys are taking notes and maybe come back and do the replay. But listen, wherever you are, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, I want you guys to make sure you follow Robert Taylor Jr. and follow Carl Brister, myself. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Rob has a channel himself as well. And also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Yes, yes. This is the groove, and we're going to come back with our final segment with Robert in just a moment. And listen, this is the groove. We're here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. And this is where music meets passion. I might as well say where art meets passion. And we find our groove in life together. That's what this is about. I want you to tell your auntie and them's and your cousin and them's and all of everybody in them's about the groove. I am your host, Carl Brister, and I'm so excited. You know, Robert and I, we go back just a little bit. He was so cool to open up his classes, and I've taken his dance classes, but until you've experienced them yourself, you really don't know what it's like. He's an awesome teacher. I want to share with you just some video. Robert hasn't seen it, so but just a few clips of some of the classes that I was able to take with Rob, and I want to bring him back for some final questions. Please make sure you chat us. We will respond and let us know what you're feeling, how you feeling, and if you have any questions, we will definitely respond. So hit us up and check this out. Robert Taylor Jr. in action as a dance teacher, dance instructor at Broadway Dance Center in Manhattan, New York City, New York. Yes, that was Robert Taylor Jr. in action at Broadway Dance Center. And this is the groove. We are here. We're about to go into our final segment with Robert. Definitely let us know if you're feeling what you're hearing. He has shared so many nuggets, so many really cool tips and advice for Broadway and pretty much auditions in general. You know, we all audition, whether it's an interview or a straight up, audition for a show or a gig. We can take that, that information that he gave us. Shout out to you guys watching on Facebook. I see you. Shout out to you guys on YouTube. I see you guys as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Groove. We're going to be right back with the final segment with Robert Taylor Jr. And this is another look at his dance instruction. This is our guest, Robert Taylor Jr.
My name is Robert Taylor Jr. and I teach hip hop. I started out in dance with John Dewey High School, and you won't believe this, but I actually started out with ballet and contemporary and Afro-Caribbean, and as well as musical theater. So that was my roots right there. And then I got a scholarship to Marymount Manhattan College, and I did a double major with musical theater and dance, which incorporated the acting classes. Right after college, I got a chance to perform with a singing group called Unity, and we performed for Michael Jackson at Webster Hall. And then after that, did some MTV stuff with Say What Karaoke as a singer. I won the first 2 shows. Started with American Idol as a singer, and this is also during the time when I started working with and Boogie with the Amount Boys as a dancer. So they were training me, teaching me the elements of hip hop, and then stemming from there, I took a lot of teachers from here that were mentoring me as well. VDC has been home for like almost half my life. I got to perform for the U.S. gymnastics team of 2004. I did Cataluna's Wind Up music video. I did Hairspray the tour. I did So You Think You Can Dance season 8, and I got to the top 16 in the show. I got to do America's Got Talent. I was with the Mothman crew, and we got to the top 40 acts. I was blessed to become a part of the original cast of SpongeBob SquarePants, the musical on Broadway. You know, I just get to do something that embodies who I am, just being positive and being happy and just making others smile and making others dance and sing. And that was a monumental moment for me. What people can expect from a Robert Taylor Jr. hip-hop class is to understand the elements of hip-hop, understand what the foundations are, like where does the pops come from, where does the locks come from, where does the footwork come from in the house. So these are all the elements that we put into choreography, and sometimes we're also freestyling in the choreography, and then sometimes I'm using some commercial street jazz movement with it because I still like to study too. I still take other people's classes, so I want to get as much information as I possibly can. I usually say in my classes, we're gonna cook that, cook that, cook that. You know what I mean? So I put all of that kind of stuff in there. I always say share your flavor because everybody has something different to bring to the table. I get all kinds of people that come to class. I get the ones that are working professionally, and then I get the ones who've never taken a hip-hop class ever. If you need to have it in slow motion, I usually do it in slow motion. I like literally in slow motion. I would like 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know what I'm saying? So we take it there. And also sometimes I literally cook that, because I do bring fried chicken to the class once a year. So we get that in. It's a special way of saying thank you. I want people to feel good. I hope that I would see you in my class. It's a stress-free class. Come on through, y'all. Please come on through. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was our guest, Robert Taylor Jr., and we are here wrapping up the final segment of The Groove. I hope you guys have been enjoying this talented brother. We're going to bring him right back. Yo, Rob, what's up, man? I think you might be muted. You're going to have to unmute yourself there, my brother.
What's up?
All right. Bro, I mean, I experienced that where you said, you take it slow.
You remember that, huh?
Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah.
And some of us needed it.
I know. But you have gotten better in classes, man. Like now, really, you have improved a lot. Like your retention started getting so much better after the second class that you took from me. Like by the time it was class number 3 that you took, you just started getting faster and better. You started retaining more, and I can actually see the quality of movement in your videos now. That you're like so much more of a mover.
Well, yeah. Well, look, I got a good teacher.
God bless you, brother. It was always in you, man. It was always in you.
Thank you, man. And that's what you do. You bring out the best in your students. The classes are enjoyable. You're so right. It's a safe zone, and people really do enjoy your classes. I've seen young kids there to seniors. Everybody just rocking with you.
Yeah.
As you cook that.
And I always like to say the oven's on 500, so you know the kitchen's warm.
Ah, but I haven't seen any chicken myself. I have yet to taste the golden bird. We're gonna have to handle that.
We'll handle it, brother. I got you. We will definitely handle that. Next time you come to class, I will have some fried chicken on deck for you.
You
Or
got it.
even better, when it's time for it to come again. Oh, by the way, folks, it's coming through third week of April sometime, so get ready. Less than 2 months in time.
There you go.
I'm gonna hit you up in advance. I'm gonna let you know when that fried chicken class is, and then you can come and get some, brother.
Real cool. Well, listen, man, it's been a pleasure having you. I really wanted to ask you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. One final question is,
Sure.
when did you know? When did you know that you had found your groove in life as an entertainer? When did you know?
Wow, you know what? I want to say that it had to be to this day 9 years ago.
Hmm.
9 years ago. That's after the whole showcase bit, what I was going through, being eaten by the sharks and all that stuff. When I finally said, I'm gonna start doing things my own way, and I'm gonna have command of it. I'm gonna be the one to book my rehearsal spaces. I'm gonna write my own songs. I'm gonna try to produce as much of my music as I possibly can. I'm gonna deal with the finances of it. I'm gonna deal with the business end of it. I'm gonna deal with the marketing and the promo of it and how the promo is going to go. How can I start incorporating my artwork and things like that? And that's how I started coming to the fruition that time to start really holding down the essence of what I do and who I am, and what I can bring from the experience that I've gained from so many people who are already in the industry as dancers who have performed with singers. So I wanted to incorporate, my artistry as far as a singer who's dancing, who's putting music out, when the music's going to be released, how it's marketed, how it's promoted. So yeah, 9 years ago.
Wow. And it sounds like you made a decision to be to empower yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we as artists often, and we can often be seduced into thinking that everything has to be done by other people. And we can get reliant upon that. And now, there's a lot of power that's right within our own hands.
Yes.
To do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's so much access to so many things now. Even the way we do photography nowadays, like we literally an iPhone 13 does photography. You don't even need the big cameras or to hire photographers. You learn how to do it yourself. That it's going to happen. Like if you would have told me a little over 2 years ago, can you produce a song for me? I would be like, I'm not a producer, I'm a songwriter. But now I have a little recording studio, so it's kind of crazy. Like, and I was acknowledged by Timbaland, and he had a master class series, and I took the class, and the master class series itself made me student of the month back in 2020.
Wow.
So it's like now, like people are, coming to my studio for songs for production and things like that. So it's just, it's such an honor to be, recognized in that way as well. And then to actually understand how you can do it yourself and how you can make it happen, and how you don't have to depend on so many different people. So you can be your own manager, you can be your own songwriter, you can be your own producer, you can be your own publicist. It could happen. So you actually have a team that's all about, supporting you, and it could be an exchange, and once you get a team that supports you, and then you support the team. So that's what happens. It's a 50-50 thing,
Nice. And that's important. This 50-50 it's not just them supporting us, it's us supporting them. It's an exchange.
Yeah.
you know, and that's really good advice, man. And I think that is poignant enough for us to put a pin right there, you know, which is you can do it.
Yeah.
You can be your own producer, you can be your own photographer.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the passion and the drive, you can find a way
Yes.
to get that train moving.
Yes.
And as you move, people get on the train that want to go in the direction that you're going in.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know, and I'm really happy that we have been on a train together, and I'm moving better because of you.
Oh, my man. Look at that groove right there. Speaking of
That's
groove,
right. Look, it's coming.
there it is. It's in there already, brother.
I've always loved movement. I've always loved to move, and you know, your class made it very comfortable to grow in that. And there's a grind that I also saw that I wanted to share with people, that you weren't just one thing. You leave that class and you're putting on another hat. You get home and you're putting on another hat.
You're right about that, man. You are so right about that.
And that's the grind behind this groove, man. And I really appreciate you. And again, everybody, please find and follow Robert on his YouTube channel, his Twitter channel, his Twitter account, and Facebook. He's on IG. We're everywhere. And where can we get your music as well?
Also on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, SoundCloud. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, man. Oh, listen, I got a few seconds, but you were just, you know, speaking about being everywhere, you were just on And Just Like That.
Yes.
And I promised we were going to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The funny thing is, this is Mario Cantone. I'm on set with, and little did I know that I grew up with this man. I grew up with Mario Cantone. I don't know if you remember this show called Steam Pipe Alley.
I remember the name.
So growing up, I remember this energetic man that would just be very big and very loud, and he would really make the kids laugh, and he'd incorporate everybody, including all the adults. Everybody come along. He was that kind of guy. So I'm on set with this guy, and I'm like, gosh, he looks so familiar. And he's like the same guy. He's cracking jokes on set, like making me laugh, and he's talking to me, and he's giving me advice and things. So I go home, and I'm like, gosh, he's so familiar. And I'm like, wait a minute, he sounds like that guy from the Steve Pipe Alley. And I go on YouTube, and then it says starring Mario Cantone. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just on set with Mr. Mario Cantone from Steve Pipe Alley. And I played the role of one of the hot fellas bakers. I mean, I will keep it 100% real. I never saw myself as a hot fella. But when I got casted for that, I was just like surprised, and I'm like thinking, they may have the wrong guy. And I'm like, even I'm on set with the shirt and everything. I'm like, wow, you know what? For this day, I will take that all in. I will play the role. I will get into character, and I will be hot fellas baker. So that's how that happened.
We're gonna have some jokes later, brother. We're gonna have some jokes.
Bring it on.
But I'm so proud of you, man, and thank you so much for being here with us on The Groove. And
thank you so much.
We definitely got to do a part 2.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back in class or working a gig with you.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to make that happen real soon.
Okay, sounds good. Fried chicken on deck, brother.
All right. You heard it here, everybody. You heard it here. Mr. Robert Teller Jr., thank you so much, my buddy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Love you, Carl.
Love you too, man. Hey everybody, I hope that you enjoyed that. This is The Groove with your boy Carl Brister. We thank you so much for being here. And next week, we got a whole new roster coming. We have gospel producer, artist extraordinaire, Mr. Anthony Ponder of APMD will be with us. So you guys will not want to miss it. And listen, I hope that you got so much out of that. The grind behind the groove. This is your boy, Carl Brister. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week.
Love came to teach us how to love, to truly love unconditionally. Love chose us to bring forth love.
I've got a question, but I ain't got the answer. So maybe you can help a brother out if you like. Like, why can't we just love each other? You're my sister, you're my brother. Can we find a way to figure this love thing out? What the world needs L-O-V-E, love. What the world needs L-O-V-E, love. Oh, lately the world's been going crazy, but hate divine. Love's the one thing that unifies.